Echoes of the Damned, the Grim Legacy of Greenwood. In the stillness of the night, a low, ominous growl reverberated through the city. The citizens of Greenwood had long forgotten the terror that once haunted their ancestors. They had dismissed the ancient tales of monstrous creatures that lurked in the shadows, believing them to be nothing more than old superstitions. However, as darkness enveloped the streets, a sense of unease crept over the town, shattering their false sense of security. It started with whispers, rumors of strange occurrences, and inexplicable disappearances. Then, the sightings began. Terrified eyewitnesses described grotesque figures, neither man nor beast, emerging from the depths of the forest. With each passing night, the reports grew more alarming, and the once bustling town descended into a state of fearful anticipation. Marcus, an ambitious journalist, was determined to uncover the truth behind the unsettling events. Despite the warnings of his colleagues and the skepticism of the townspeople, he delved deep into the archives, uncovering ancient manuscripts that spoke of a dark pact made centuries ago. According to the fated texts, the townsfolk had struck a deal with the creatures of the forest, offering them sacrifices in exchange for protection and prosperity. As Marcus delved further into the history of Greenwood, he realized that the town had broken the age-old pact, forgetting the sacrifices that had once been made to appease the monstrous entities. With the pact now shattered, the creatures had returned to claim what was rightfully theirs. The nights grew colder, the air thick with a sense of impending doom. The creatures, now emboldened by their resurgence, crept closer to the town's borders, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. People vanished without a trace, their anguished cries echoing through the desolate streets. Marcus knew he had to act fast before the horrors consumed the entire town. Armed with ancient knowledge and modern technology, Marcus gathered a team of determined individuals, each with their own unique skill set. Together, they ventured deep into the heart of the forest, guided by the cryptic clues left behind by their predecessors. However, the further they journeyed, the more they realized that the creatures were not merely mindless beasts, but cunning adversaries, well versed in the art of deception and manipulation. As the group pushed deeper into the forest's murky depths, they encountered increasingly nightmarish entities. Some were reminiscent of ancient folklore, while others were twisted amalgamations of flesh and bone, born from the darkest recesses of human fear. Each confrontation tested their resolve, pushing them to the brink of sanity and forcing them to confront their deepest, darkest fears. Days blurred into nights as the battle between humanity and the ancient terrors raged on, each side refusing to relent. Marcus and his team fought tirelessly, determined to banish the darkness that threatened to engulf Greenwood. However, with every victory, they realized that the monsters were not the only threat. Corrupt officials, who had long been aware of the town's dark secret, attempted to sabotage their efforts, fearing the exposure of their complicity in the ancient pact. Amidst the chaos and treachery, Marcus grappled with the weight of his responsibility. He knew that the fate of Greenwood rested on his shoulders and that the sacrifices made along the way would haunt him for the rest of his days. With the monsters showing no signs of relenting and the town teetering on the brink of destruction, Marcus wondered if their efforts would be enough to break the curse that had plagued Greenwood for centuries. As the story unfolds, the line between reality and nightmare blurs, leaving readers to question whether the monsters are merely figments of ancient lore or harbingers of a much deeper, darker truth that threatens to consume the very essence of humanity. The chilling tale of Greenwood serves as a stark reminder that some secrets are best left buried, for when they resurface, they bring with them an unfathomable darkness that cannot be easily contained or defeated. As the moon cast its eerie glow upon the desolate town of Greenwood, a sense of dread settled over the remaining inhabitants. Marcus and his dwindling team continued their relentless battle against the encroaching darkness, their bodies and minds pushed to the brink of exhaustion. With each passing day, the monsters grew bolder, their once subtle presence now a tangible threat that loomed over every waking moment. Within the twisted labyrinth of the forest, the team encountered remnants of past expeditions, their fate serving as a grim reminder of the horrors that awaited those who dared challenge the ancient pact. Mangled corpses, their lifeless eyes frozen in terror, lined the overgrown paths, warning the living of the ruthless fate that awaited them should they falter in their quest. Among Marcus's companions, the initial camaraderie and optimism had gradually eroded, replaced by paranoia and desperation. The unrelenting pressure of their mission weighed heavily on their minds, fueling resentment and distrust that threatened to tear the group apart. Each member grappled with their own inner demons, haunted by past traumas that the relentless darkness of Greenwood only served to amplify. As they ventured deeper into the heart of the forest, the line between reality and nightmare blurred, leaving the team vulnerable to the manipulations of the ancient forces that sought to reclaim their hold on the town. Whispers of long-forgotten sins echoed through the dense foliage, sowing seeds of doubt and despair within their weary minds. Illusions manifested, tormenting the team with visions of their deepest fears and regrets threatening to drive them to madness. Marcus, plagued by guilt and doubt, struggled to maintain his grasp on sanity. Haunted by the faces of those who had perished under his leadership, he questioned whether their sacrifice was in vain, whether the darkness that enveloped Greenwood could ever truly be vanquished. The weight of his responsibility bore down on him like an oppressive force, gnawing away at his resolve and leaving him vulnerable to the sinister whispers that slithered through the shadows. With their numbers dwindling and their spirits waning, Marcus and his remaining companions finally reached the heart of the forest, a place shrouded in an impenetrable darkness that seemed to consume all light and hope. There, amidst a clearing enveloped in an otherworldly mist, they came face to face with the embodiment of the town's darkest secrets, a monstrous entity that exuded a malevolent aura that threatened to snuff out their very existence. In a final, harrowing confrontation, Marcus and his companions waged a desperate battle against the ancient evil that had plagued Greenwood for centuries. The air crackled with raw energy as the forces of light and darkness clashed, each side fighting with an unfathomable ferocity that defied mortal comprehension. In the end, as the dust settled and the echoes of their struggle faded into the night, only silence remained, a haunting testament to the sacrifices made in the name of reclaiming the town's lost innocence. Yet, even in victory, Marcus could not shake the feeling that the darkness had merely receded, biding its time until the next unsuspecting generation would unearth the cursed secrets of Greenwood, perpetuating an endless cycle of suffering and despair. As he stood amidst the ruins of the forest, he knew that the horrors he had witnessed would continue to haunt him, a grim reminder of the unfathomable depths of human depravity and the unyielding grip of ancient evils that refused to be extinguished. In the aftermath of the harrowing battle, a haunting silence settled over the town of Greenwood. The once vibrant community now lay in ruin, its streets deserted and its buildings consumed by an unnatural darkness that seemed to seep from the very earth itself. Marcus and the few remaining survivors emerged from the heart of the forest, their weary bodies bearing the scars of a relentless war that had defied all reason and logic. As they ventured back into the desolate town, they discovered that the shadows held more than just the remnants of the monstrous entities they had fought so valiantly. Eerie whispers drifted through the empty alleyways, carrying with them an unsettling sense of foreboding. The survivors, already haunted by the memories of their ordeal, found themselves tormented by spectral apparitions that seemed to materialize from the depths of their collective trauma. Marcus, now a shell of his former self, grappled with the realization that their victory had come at a terrible cost. The survivors, once united in their fight against the darkness, had become fractured and broken, their minds and souls scarred by the horrors they had witnessed. As they sought solace in the remnants of their shattered lives, they found themselves ensnared in a web of malevolent forces that refused to relinquish their hold on the desecrated town. With each passing night, the boundaries between the living and the dead blurred, leaving the survivors vulnerable to the vengeful spirits of those who had perished in the relentless onslaught. Shadows danced along the decaying walls, whispering macabre tales of suffering and despair that threatened to consume the very essence of their being. Marcus and his companions, tormented by guilt and remorse, found themselves trapped in a nightmarish cycle of anguish and torment, unable to escape the grasp of the malevolent forces that sought to claim their souls. As the days turned into weeks, the survivors' sanity waned, their minds plagued by visions of the atrocities they had committed in the name of survival. Marcus, haunted by the faces of those he had failed to save, descended into a downward spiral of self-loathing and despair, his grip on reality slipping further with each passing moment. The once valiant journalist, driven by a sense of purpose and justice, now found himself at the mercy of the very darkness he had sought to vanquish. In the desolate streets of Greenwood, a palpable sense of dread lingered, a reminder of the town's dark past and the price it had paid for its transgressions. The survivors, consumed by their own personal hells, became mere puppets in the hands of an ancient evil that reveled in their suffering. As their cries echoed through the empty void, they realized that the true horror lay not in the monstrous entities that had once terrorized their town, but in the depths of their own fractured minds, where the seeds of darkness had long been sown. And so, as the sun set for the last time over the forsaken town, a chilling silence descended, enveloping Greenwood in an eternal embrace of despair and sorrow. The remnants of its once vibrant community lay forgotten, their spirits forever trapped in a purgatory of their own making, condemned to relive the horrors of their past for all eternity. Marcus, the last witness to the town's descent into madness, succumbed to the darkness, his tortured soul becoming yet another casualty in the grim legacy of Greenwood's tragic history.